So, being the Carnage symbiote, it may not have the deranged serial killer in there, but it's clearly not doing evil Peter Parker any favors. Right now, though, he's convinced that the one that he's fighting is actually a clone and is ready to finish him off. The Beyonder has to intervene to stop Spidey from being killed, but he's already weak from being in this other universe. Luckily, Beyonder and Madam Web have made sure that Spider-Man doesn't need to do this alone.
Am I going mad?
This is the one that's supposed to be our leader? Give me a break. I should be in charge of this group. I'm the real Spider-Man.
Never has any man been both so confused and so insulted in the same moment. They are all different versions of Spider-Man from different realities.
You all share my life? And my spider powers? Well, not quite all of us. I don't have your life or your powers.
I'm guessing with the red and blue costume you were not brought here for your ninja skills. Alright, well, you're going to be in charge of vital aspects of this mission, like holding open doors and picking up the dry cleaning.
I don't think I even want to hear your story.
All of you must hear the Scarlet Spider story.
You can't visit historic apocalyptic New York and go home without hearing the Scarlet Spider's story. You'll have missed out on a cultural treasure. The Scarlet Spider's actually from this reality, which is based upon the then-recent Clone Saga, where Spider-Man had been cloned and fought the clone, and then that was the end of it for a long, long time, until finally they decided to bring the clone back as Ben Reilly, saying that he didn't die after all, and he took the identity of the Scarlet Spider. At this time in the comics, Peter Parker kept getting put through hell until he was just no fun anymore. Destroyed by the death of his best friend, then the death of his Aunt May, learning that his parents returned from the grave who were in fact duplicates made to mess with his head. They looked at all of that and how it had broken him and reduced him to a soulless husk of a man and reached the obvious conclusion, clearly this is all his wife's fault. So the clone was to actually be presented as the real deal, and Peter and MJ would disappear, clearing the way for Ben to go on as the one true Spider-Man.
This is starting to sound like a bad comic book plot.
This went over like a fart at a funeral and was proven to be false, and Peter was definitely shown to be the real deal. This story is much like that, including May being dead, and them not yet sure who is and who isn't the clone. Our Spider-Man knows some of this because he'd met the Jackal in the show, only with a clone of Mary Jane instead. MJ is missing, see. But in this reality...
It gets worse. I was trying to stop one of the Kingpin's crimes. He had created some kind of interdimensional transporter which would make him invincible as a criminal.
So with the dimension open, the Carnage symbiote emerges. Carnage had been trapped in the dark dimension, so this could actually be the real symbiote. It bonded then with the bitter Peter Parker of this reality. With Peter's mind broken by grief and the madness baked into Carnage, Spider-Carnage is going to pull a Davros and try to annihilate all of reality, every dimension there is. But you gotta admit, Carnage really does live up to his name. The Beyonder is working to undo this because Spider-Carnage actually succeeded in this, and he and Madam Web have assembled this group to stop him. No one else can do it because of the limitations on their power, see. When they unfuck the universe, it goes back to being fucked as soon as they leave, to quote Albert Einstein. So all these Spider-Men were tested by Madam Web, and our version is the one that is worthy of leading the group against Spider-Carnage.
I object. I think I should be the...
Silence!
Oh, put a sock in it, Monochrome. How he acquitted himself in Secret Wars proved that Spider-Man is the hero that we need to lead this group.
What about him? He doesn't have any powers. Hey, guys, don't cut me out of this. This is the adventure of a lifetime.
Seriously, why were you brought here? I mean, no offense, I don't have any superpowers either, but I can't imagine being brought to this reality by an all-powerful being to fight this war unless they needed a lot of typists. They head out, while Spider-Carnage and the Goblins, sounds like the name your kid brother's band called themselves, They return to the lair while Kingpin waits impatiently. Seems Spider-Carnage has duped the big guy into thinking that this invention will allow them to control the minds of the entire human race and rule the world. Kingpin isn't too sure about that, but even Smythe, the guy who really needs to put on a shirt, hasn't figured out yet if Spider-Carnage's machine will do what he says.
He is a powerful ally, but he is more evil than anyone I have ever encountered.
And I live in New York. The Spider-Men slip in at the ground level, since the bad guy is going to be expecting a group of Spider-Men to attack anywhere but there.
We need to disable the alarm and observation systems.
No problem. One of my companies designed security systems like this.
You own your own companies?
Who do you think built this armored suit? In my world, I'm a multi-billionaire, aren't you?
Well, I'm so rich I've got a high-rise with a pool on the roof that has a yacht in it that has its own smaller pool. Unfortunately, Spidey Warbucks is too busy bragging about his high-tech toys that he doesn't disable the security camera that lets the bad guys know that they're here. So there's a fight where... I think I'm going to stick with that. Spidey Warbucks fires a missile full of knockout gas at Hobgoblin, except that takes out Dr. Octopus Spider-Man because he's too close. So now he's out of the fight too.
Hey, relax. This'll all work out. Things always do.
Especially when I'm reckless. He continues to ignore Spider-Man's leadership, seeing a group of heavily armed bad guys and the Green Goblin, and then leaps into the fight because there's faces that need punching. No need for a plan there. I've got a fist, they've got a face, that's all the planning he needs. This fight doesn't go well, though, as Spidey Warbucks is paralyzed and has to be rescued by the Beyonder. So there's only 3 left now. And what's worse, when they do manage to get the upper hand, 6-armed Spider-Man's mutation gets out of hand and he turns into a monster. I'm starting to think the No Powers guy might have been more helpful than some of the actual team members. Let's see how things conclude next time.
All hail the Overlord! All hail the Overlord!
Wait! Impetuous, isn't he? Try obnoxious.